everyone. Welcome. My name is Tara, your resident harmony nerd. I'm a professional singer, a music educator, a singing teacher, and content creator based in Brooklyn in New York City. And this is Frequency Friday. Welcome, welcome. So, Frequency Friday is one of my daily offerings. I have daily offerings 5 days a week. Music Theory Monday, Ear Training Tuesday, Warm Up Wednesday, Free Voice Lesson Thursday, and Frequency Friday. And Frequency Friday is exploring the soul piece of being a creative, exploring our challenges, exploring ways to overcome those challenges in a supportive, loving environment. If you're new here, there is no shame in being a beginner. You don't know what you don't know. And we all work together to support one another, to help each other put ourselves out into the world in a creative way here in this community. Okay. I learned very early on in my content creation journey that music education and singing techniques are truly gatekept, and it can be difficult to find reliable information. And so from there, I developed these daily sessions, Monday through Friday, on TikTok Live. And the next one, TikTok Live and YouTube Live, excuse me. So depending on which platform you're watching this on, if I respond to a comment that you can't see, it's likely because it's on the other platform. And the cool thing about being live on YouTube is that all of these sessions are automatically reposted to my YouTube page. So if there's anything we talk about today that you want to review, or maybe there's an old session that you didn't get a chance to participate in and you would like to go back and review it, you can hop on over to my YouTube, which you can find in my link tree or the same handle at Resident Harmony Nerd. And you can find the replay playlist, right? So I have a replay playlist for every day of the week. Frequency Friday replays, Music Theory Monday replays. And you can go back and rewatch any of these lives on YouTube if you want to like reabsorb the information. Hi, Tina. Thank you for the heart me. So today's Frequency Friday topic is grounding techniques, okay, for performance anxiety, right? Singing it's like tapping your head and rubbing your belly at the same time, right? It's really tricky because you're asking a lot of yourself, right? You need your body to remain grounded in order to support your singing voice, but you need the actual singing mechanisms to remain free and agile so that you can perform the way you'd like to. And on top of all of this, you also have to remain present and in the moment and in the song, right? I do think that human beings have amazing bullshit meters, right? If you are performing a song and you're not in it, other humans can sense that, right? And I think that that's the difference between a performance that captivates us and takes us away with the performer versus like somebody who's an amazing singer, but while they're singing, you can tell that they know how amazing they are, right? It's like they're more concerned with themselves than they are with like sharing the act of sharing music with community, with each other. And for me, the most successful performers are the ones who can be present in it and get lost in it, but also understand that like sharing music with one another is not about the performer, right? It's about the connection that it creates and the experience that we all have together. So how do you allow yourself to get lost in the moment while still staying present and grounded in the moment in order to have a good vocal performance, right? It's like we're asking a lot of ourselves. So we're going to talk about, some grounding techniques, what happens to us when we become nervous in performance spaces. And I love to have open comment sections during these Frequency Fridays. So if something resonates with you, feel free to share it. If something doesn't make sense to you and you'd like to ask clarifying questions, that's what I'm here for. Go for it. And also, it happens a lot on these Frequency Fridays where people connect and create new friendships in the comments because we can relate to one another. Oh, I experience anxiety in that way too when I sing, or oh, I had a moment like that too when I was practicing the other day, and it was so beautiful, So don't be shy, right? But also, if you're new here and you're a little tentative and you're not ready to participate yet, that's cool too. Like, you can totally just observe. So I'm going to scroll up. Looks like we had a little bit of commentating going on here on TikTok. Okay, let me see. Scrolly, scrolly, scroll, scroll. Oh, unique. I have a question. When I sing, I can reach the higher notes, but I don't know what range I'm in. Are you still here, Unique? Will you let me know in the comments? Because I have a question for you before I answer your question. My question for you would be, um, what is the reason why you're wanting to know the range you're singing in? Is it like just for knowledge's sake, or are you trying to figure out how to pick songs appropriately for your singing voice? Can you find out your range yourself? Yes. Yeah, I think it's easy to determine your own vocal range. It's going to help if you have knowledge of how the piano works and music theory. But figuring out your vocal range is a matter of figuring out your lowest note that you can hit consistently, right? Because our voices change from day to day, they're inside our bodies. So, like, I know some days I can hit a low D3 and other days I can't. So, I don't include that low D3 in my range. I want my range to be the notes that I can consistently hit, which for me, I'm going to say that F3 is always powerful. So, I'll say F or E3 is the bottom of my range. And I consistently have a high C, even though sometimes I can sing higher than that, sometimes I can't. Depends on the day. So, like for me, if I was putting it on my resume, I would say that my range is from E3 to C6. Okay. And if you're not super familiar with vocal technique, it does help to have a coach or a teacher or a guide you through it. But you can also figure out which songs are appropriate for your range by singing through them. And is it comfortable? Can you hit the low note and the high note? But if you do want assistance figuring out your range, I do that in something called a vocal assessment, which you can book in my link in bio. Right? First, you come to me warmed up and we determine your vocal range. And then you sing a couple of songs for me, one you feel confident with and one you don't. And we spend some time working on the techniques that you could use improvement upon. And then you get a spreadsheet back afterwards that will tell you your vocal range, what you're good at, where you need improvement, and also includes hyperlinks to practice sessions so that you can practice the techniques you need work on. And then when you've improved your voice, you can come back for another vocal assessment if desired, right? This is my solution for people who want to improve their singing voice, but don't want to commit to regularly scheduled voice lessons for one reason or another. Okay, so if you're interested in one of those vocal assessments, you can go to my link in bio and go ahead and directly schedule it, or you can feel free to DM me. Okay, cool. Thank you for the question, Unique. It's nice to see you here. And again, if anybody has any questions, hi, Raphael. Feel free to drop them in the comments, but let's get into the meat of today, what we're talking about. Frequency Friday grounding techniques. Get your warm beverage, cozy blanket, maybe a journal or a notebook. Okay. So the first question I'm going to ask, and if you feel comfortable dropping your answer in the comments, that's lovely. But if you don't, that's okay too. So the first question that I like to start with is, we're talking about grounding techniques, right? So the first thing that we need to know is that we're ungrounded, right? If we know we want to stay grounded and we want to use our grounding techniques to help us ground, one of the first important pieces of this is that we need to know how our anxiety shows up. How does our ungroundedness show up for us? Okay? It's a lot easier to quell our anxieties and our fears when we understand how they show up. Right? Because when we understand how they're going to show up, we can prepare, we can meet ourselves with compassion, and we can develop techniques to help us work past the anxiety or fears that we know are inevitably going to show up for us. So, sitting at home, close your eyes if you feel comfortable, and if you don't, that's okay too. But we're going to try to recreate in our bodies from a safe space, a grounded space, what happens to us when we get nervous. So the first thing is to settle where you are, right? And start to connect to the things that are static, that support you, such as the chair you're sitting on, the floor beneath your feet, the feet beneath your floor. The breath, right? Always come back to the breath. It is always there for you. Okay? And so these are a couple of things that I want you to remember that you can come back to if you start to get lost in anxious feelings, okay? The ground beneath the feet, the chair beneath your butt, the breath in and out of your nose or mouth, okay? With these things in mind, once you're settled, if you feel comfortable closing your eyes, you can. For me, it helps to remove the visual stimulus. But if you feel uncomfortable closing your eyes, find something inane to look at, something that won't move, something that's not too interesting, but maybe also something that brings you some comfort. Okay? And I want you to picture yourself in a performance scenario, something that will give you anxiety. Whether that's public speaking, or maybe singing at an open mic night or a karaoke party. Maybe it's giving a presentation at work. Something that you know will make your stomach drop, that you know will give you feelings of anxiety. And I want you to think about it in a way that allows you to take inventory of how that anxiety shows up for you. So what do I mean by that? I mean, okay, let me walk you through my personal something that makes me anxious, and then hopefully it'll be a good example for you to walk down the path and discover your own. Okay, so I've noticed that I've been a professional singer for 15 years, and I'm extremely good at what I do, but I've noticed that when I have to sing in different situations than what I do professionally, I get nervous, right? Because I've done what I do for 15 years. So when I'm doing something new, of course it makes me a little bit anxious. So let's say I'm performing my own original music at a club, okay? That makes me feel quite anxious. It feels very vulnerable to me. It feels like standing naked on the stage. And so what I'm feeling right now is an uneasiness low in my belly, right? Very low discomfort, kind of near where my belly button is. My throat is clenching a little bit, and my heart rate is picking up a little bit, okay? So I'm trying to meet the anxiety I might feel when in a situation that makes me nervous while I'm not in that situation. And you might be saying to yourself, well, I don't want to work myself up when I don't have to be worked up. And I hear you. And you have to decide what's best for you. Okay. But the benefit of exploring this when you're not actually in the situation is that there's enough distance between you and the situation that you can actually take some inventory of how you physically feel. Okay. So I'm going to give you like a minute of silence to explore the physical bodily sensations that come up for you when you mentally put yourself in a situation that would give you anxiety. And if you feel comfortable sharing them, you can share them. And if you don't, that's okay too. Okay. So whether you chose to do this exercise right now in real time with me, or whether you prefer to do it later on your own, The important thing is that we're gathering inventory. We're collecting data. We want to know how our anxiety is going to show up for us, okay? And then once we have an idea of what's going to happen in our bodies, in our beings, then we can start to develop a routine. We can start to develop a toolkit to help us remain grounded, okay? So since today's Frequency Friday topic is grounding techniques, let's talk through some of them. I'm going to just give you a whole bunch of grounding techniques that work for me. And I would love for you to take the ones that work for you, leave the ones that don't. And if you are hanging out today and you have a grounding technique that works for you that I don't mention, I would be so grateful if you would share it in the comments, because you never know who it could be helping. Okay? So for me, one of the quickest grounding techniques is what we practiced before we explored our anxiety markers on this session. Feeling my feet on the ground, right? Coming back to physical sensation, to present physical sensation. Naming 5 things that I can see, 4 things that I can feel, 3 things that I can smell, 2 things that I can taste, or something like that, right? So the first thing, I often have my eyes closed when I'm dealing with anxiety. So for me, I do better going inward and experiencing what my body is feeling, the feeling of the fabric on my skin, the feeling of my feet on the ground, my butt on the chair, the feeling of the air going in and out of my nose, these constant, steady things that I know I can rely on. For some people, they're more visual. Maybe looking at something they love helps, right? Maybe that's a picture of your kid or your pet on your phone. Maybe, I do recommend, if you're in a performance space and you know you're going to get anxious, I do recommend when you first walk in, look around the space. Find 2 or 3 things in your space that make you really happy. Things that make you feel safe. Things that you know you can come back to. Coming back to the present moment through visualization, through the breath, through the body, is going to help you remain grounded and not get lost in all the what ifs. Okay? Another really important grounding mechanism for me that I'd love to share for you, and I hope that it resonates with you as well, is understanding why we get nervous. Our bodies are trying to keep us safe, right? The limbic system in our brains has not evolved as quickly as modern society. So your brain doesn't understand the difference between running from a lion and singing on stage, right? Both of these things are life-threatening to your limbic system, because social rejection often equaled perishing, right? Throughout human history. If we were excommunicated from our group, our chances of surviving were lower. So we have a literal machine inside of us, a supercomputer in our heads, our brains, okay? And the part of our brain that processes physical pain, like if you break your leg, is the same part of our brain that processes social rejection. So being told you stink at singing and no one wants to hear you sing and nobody wants to talk to you because you gave such a bad performance, that is as painful in your brain and body as breaking your leg. It is life or death as far as your brain is concerned. So for me, having this knowledge, having this understanding allows me to be much more compassionate with my anxiety, with my nerves, right? My body's not against me. It's literally trying to save my life. So now that I have this knowledge, I can say, hey, body, I see you. You're having a lot of anxiety. I think that you're feeling like this is a life or death situation, and it's not. I've got great news for you. I am filling your age here. I'm this old. I'm safe. I can take care of myself. We're going to do this singing performance, and it's not life or death. Or we're going to do this presentation at work or this public speaking opportunity. And, maybe it'll go perfect and maybe there'll be some room for improvement, but either which way, we're going to be okay. And being able to hold that, to truly hold that in your body. So I'm curious if anybody who's watching right now, did you have this knowledge? Were you aware of, hi Yogigmo, nice to see you. It's been a minute. Did you have this knowledge? Like, did you have this understanding? Do you think it will help you in the future? Okay. I also have some more practical grounding techniques that I will share with you as well. Okay. But for me, like having the understanding of why my anxiety or my body is like getting away from me, having that understanding is so precious. And for my brain, it helps me cope a lot more with my body's natural responses because I understand that she's just trying to keep me safe. It may feel like you're at war with your body, like your body is against you, right? You want to perform, but your body's having this anxiety. So it might feel like clashing, right? Like your body is your enemy. And I think that the more we're able to take a step back and recognize that our bodies are just trying to keep us safe, everything our brain and body is going to do, right? Remember, we're animals at the end of the day, too. Everything that our bodies and brains want to do is to keep us safe, first and foremost, to survive, first and foremost. So having that compassion to meet yourself with like, oh, you know what? My body's just trying to help me is a great, great, great first step in developing awareness. And that alone for me has made a huge difference. And I hope it will for you as well. So what if you have this understanding, but your body is still taking off without you, right? What can you do? So there's a ton of grounding techniques out there. And I would love it if you have any that you really like, if you could share them in the comments. But I'm going to talk about some breath work, some breathing techniques. Tapping is very effective for many people. Journaling can be super helpful. And I'm going to show you, I just took a nervous system course as well to help me better understand how my nervous system works. And so I learned some like practical self-touch tools as well that can help you remain grounded when your body is taking off without you. Okay. I think that unfortunately modern society is so antithetical to the way that we were naturally meant to live, that modern life, modern society revs up our nervous systems 24/7. So it's truly no surprise to me that we're all as anxious as we are. We're kind of living at odds with our nature in modern society. So having that understanding too can kind of help bring you back. I'm feeling quite a breeze in here. What's going on? It's a little chilly. All right. Very true. Yeah, I agree, Jaden. Okay, cool. So if you are still hanging out here with me and you feel comfortable dropping in the comments the way that your nervousness manifests, I will do my best to help you brainstorm some grounding techniques that might help you. Like, for example, I get a knot in my stomach, my throat tightens up, I feel like I'm going to faint. If you feel comfortable sharing, share. And if not, that's okay too. Any which way, I'm going to give you some grounding techniques now. So take the ones that work for you and leave the ones that don't. Okay. A grounding technique. This works so well for me when I have time and space, but it does not work well for me quickly, if that makes sense. So like, it's a breathing technique, and let's say I'm gonna go sing on stage, or I have a presentation, and it's like 30 minutes beforehand or 20 minutes beforehand. This technique will help me. If I only have like 2 to 5 minutes, it makes me more anxious. So that is something that you want to make sure you're taking inventory of as well as you develop your own personal grounding techniques, right? This one helps me in this situation, but it doesn't help me in that situation, right? Like, I know that I feel like a lot of these like spiritual gurus will tell you meditate, 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 meditate. Well, guess what? If your nervous system is revved up, meditation is the last thing you want to be doing. It's not going to help you if your nervous system is activated. And I don't understand why more practitioners don't talk about this. It's not a magic pill, right? It has its times when it works and its times when it doesn't work. So as you're developing your own toolkit, it's really important for you to not only take inventory of how the anxiety shows up in your body, but also of what works for you in which situations. Sometimes breath work may work wonders for you, but in other situations it might not work well at all. So instead of getting upset, damn it, why isn't this breathing working? It always works for me. Why isn't it working right now? Instead of defaulting to that frustration, start to notice patterns. Get curious. Oh, you know what? I only have 5 minutes to get ready. I'm too anxious to take the time to breathe. I need more of a containment exercise right now. Okay, so as you develop your toolkit, you want to have your tools, and then you also want to have them in categories. Breathing helps me when I have more than 10 minutes. Okay, it does not help me when I have less than 10 minutes. Containment helps me when I have less than 10 minutes. Heck, containment can help me at any point in time. Okay. So, and what is containment? Since I've been talking about that, let me just touch on it really quickly. Containment is literally containing your body with your hands, right? This, you kind of look like Kevin from Home Alone, but like, who cares? This is containment, holding onto your head. For me, it feels really good at the back of my neck. This like instantly calms me. Find places to put your hands on your body that soothe you. Hugging yourself. Containment. Okay? Maybe feather light touch on your arms or squeezing, right? This is all bringing you back to the body. So for me, I find that containment as a grounding technique is super useful in the moment. If I have to go on stage in 10 seconds and I'm freaking out, deep breaths, squeezing, containment. And for me, containment works 24/7. Okay? But maybe for you, there are situations it doesn't work. All right? Now I'm going to share with you my favorite breathing technique for grounding. And friendly reminder that this one works for me when I have time and space, because the breathing technique takes time to practice. So what I've realized is that if I have less than 5 minutes, I get too anxious. Like I want to look at the clock and I'm worried about the time. So it actually makes me more anxious if I don't have more than 5 minutes. But if I know I have more time, this really helps me to settle and ground and lock in. It's called a box breath, okay? And you can tailor it to suit your own needs. Let's practice it together. We'll do maybe 3 to 5 rounds. And I like to sit up or stand up really tall and feel the ground beneath my feet. You might want to lay down also. That can be really soothing. And the box means that we're creating a box with 4 sides with our breath, okay? And you're going to pick a count. Today we're going to work with 4, but you can work with 5 or 6. They say 6 is the ideal number for the nervous system, but if you're new to this, you might have to work up to it, okay? And so we're inhaling for 4. We're holding the inhale for 4. We're exhaling for 4. And we're holding the exhale for 4. You see, we're creating a box with our breathing. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. If you are new to this, the holding the exhale may activate your nervous system. So pay attention, right? Sometimes when we hold the exhale, the body goes, oh my gosh, I need air, I need air, I need air. And you panic. If that happens for you, skip the holding the exhale. Just do a triangle. Inhale, hold, exhale. Inhale, hold, exhale, okay? Do what is best for your body, and after you've been practicing this breath for a while, you will get comfortable enough to hold the exhale, but you have to slowly work up your body's capacity to hold empty without air, okay? So everybody exhale. Here we go. We're going to inhale. Hold the inhale. Exhale through the mouth. Hold the exhale if you're comfortable, or go right to the inhale. Inhaling. Hold. Exhaling. Either holding the exhale or inhaling. Good. Inhaling or holding the inhale, depending on where you are. Exhale. Hold or inhale. Last one. Deepest breath in all day. And hold. Exhale, slowest exhale all day. That breathing technique centers me so quickly, usually in just 3 rounds. So keep working with it and see how it helps you. There's another breathing technique that I love. I believe it's called Brahmi. Let me just look it up. Brahmi breathing technique. Brahmari pranayama. Yes, okay. Brahmari. Yes, okay. Or humming bee breath technique. This is another one that I really love. This one is also excellent for the nervous system. You might have noticed that like singing makes you feel better. And there's an anatomical reason for that, right? The vibrations, specifically of humming or vocalizing, the vibrations it creates in our body soothes us. It soothes our nervous system. What a gift is that, right? How cool is that? So this next exercise is one where we're going to inhale through the nose as deeply and as fully as we can. And then we're going to do like a little buzzy humming bee breath. Okay, so it sounds like this. Right? And you want it to be low pitched, mouth closed. So I guess when I'm kind of buzzing like a bee, there's a little bit of air escaping through my lips. Or you can also just straight up hum. For me, I feel more vibration in my face when my lips are closed, but if you want to let a little air escape, figure out what works best for you. And then there's a hand position as well. And what the hand position helps with is it kind of helps increase how our bodies receive the vibration. And this is extra healing for the nervous system. So you have 2 options here. We have these little flappies over our ears here in the front. So I'm going to use either my thumbs or my 4 fingers to close that off. And so go ahead and put your fingers in your ears and hum. Now take your fingers away and hum. Can you feel the difference in how the vibration manifests in your body? So we like to do this to kind of increase the benefits. And then if you're like me, where removing visual stimulus helps your nervous system, you can do the thumbs in the ears and you can close the eyes. Put the hands over the eyes as well. You might want to warm up the palms before you do that, depending on the temperature of your hands, okay? So let's practice this one 3 to 5 times as well. Exhale out the breath. Inhale through the nose, deepest inhale. And go ahead, bee, buzz, hum as long as you can. Doesn't matter if your hum was as long as mine. Do what you can. Inhaling again. And buzzing as long as you can. Make sure it's as low pitched as you can manage. The lower the pitch, the slower the vibrations, the more soothing it is for the nervous system. Last one all together. Inhale. And then returning to your natural breath, and as you feel ready, coming back to the space you're in, maybe gently opening your eyes, focusing on something that makes you happy. I love salt, so my eyes just locked on the salt shaker on the table here. And that's another thing that I wanted to mention too. A lot of times when I'm doing these techniques to calm my nerves, while my eyes are closed, you want to make sure that you have time to welcome yourself back into the space, right? Because if the second you open your eyes, you have to go on stage, that may really jar the nervous system. So make sure that you leave yourself enough time and space to resource. Resource meaning utilizing the things around you to help you feel better. Thank you for the heart, me. Is that Jenny? Hi, Fairy House. I took my glasses off for that last technique. Hi, so lovely to see you. Yes, good morning. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. It's been a minute. Cool. And then my last technique, and this is more of like a long-term gain, right? This is not an immediate soothe your nervous system, like the breathing techniques or the containment. This is more of like a long game kind of thing. And that's journaling. Trying to understand what makes you feel nervous in the first place. What are you afraid of? What is going on in your mind? What happened in your formative years? What belief systems do you hold that cause you to feel like performance for one reason or another is life-threatening? And can you meet those beliefs with compassion and understanding that they're just trying to keep you safe, right? And if you've been on one of these Frequency Fridays before, you've probably heard me talk about internal family systems, IFS. It's a therapy technique. I am not a therapist, but I have been in therapy for almost a decade now, and have been using this technique for quite some time. And internal family systems is a concept, a therapeutic technique in which we understand and acknowledge and live compassionately alongside of all the different parts of ourselves, right? There's a part of yourself that's wanting to protect you from social rejection, so it makes you feel nervous. There's a part of you that fears if you experience that rejection, you won't survive. So then a different part of you starts to panic. So we have one part of you trying to protect you. You have another part of you trying to panic. Then you have another part of you that really wants to perform and really wants to put yourself out into the world in that way. And all of these parts have your best interest in mind. But what they want, unfortunately, conflicts with one another, causing internal warfare. So being able to understand these parts and being able to mediate conversations between the protector and the panicker, between the protector and the higher self, right? This is going to help you understand yourself better and not self-abandon when attempting to put yourself out into the world. So if you're interested in learning more about internal family systems, there's a great book written by Dr. Richard Schwartz, who created the technique. The book is called No Bad Parts, and it's available in my TikTok shop showcase. It's also available in my Linktree shop. So if you're on YouTube and you don't have TikTok, obviously you can't do TikTok shop, but if you go to my Linktree, it immediately pops up with links. There's a little button at the top and you can toggle between links and shop. So if you toggle over to shop, I know that there's both a workbook and the regular book available. It's also available on audiobook. And I actually found I have the audiobook and the physical book of No Bad Parts, because the physical book helps me to do the exercises, right? I can actually like see the exercises and write in the book if I need to. But the audiobook is so cool because you actually get to hear the author, the creator of Internal Family Systems, use this technique with some of his patients, his clients. So it gives you a great example of how to do this work on your own if you don't have a therapist. I finally did a live with a singer because of this Frequency Friday advice. Oh my gosh, that makes my soul sing. Thank you so much for sharing that. I did well, even though I was shaking. It was fun, and I was proud of myself for doing it. Thank you so much. You're so welcome. I'm proud of you for doing it too, right? And I think that there's a lot of wisdom, Fairy House, for you to know that my body's shaking, but I want to do this thing, so I'm going to do it anyway. That's huge. That's major for you to develop this understanding of like, okay, you know what? My body's going to have this physical reaction and I can hold it. And I can hold that physical reaction and still be present and do the thing that I want to do. Understanding that as your nervous system starts gathering evidence, right? Okay, well, we were shaking and we were nervous, but we're okay. We made it to the other side and we're okay. All right. It'll be a little bit easier next time, even if it's only this tiny, tiny little bit easier. Your body and your nervous system starts to gather evidence. Oh, I am safe. This is safe. And with time and practice, you get to rewrite those neurological pathways, those nervous system pathways, right? So your body starts to truly understand that it's safe. So, this is my goal. I am definitely hooking people and pulling people in with singing technique and music education. But ultimately, what I want to help facilitate is healing, growth, right? I feel like our power has been taken from us in modern society, and I want to help empower people to take it back, to understand themselves, how we work, how we tick, how society has, in my opinion, intentionally placed us in a state of constant fear and anxiety. And how do we step out of that and break out of that? And like, hey, if we can create art while we do it, hell yeah. Like, absolutely. Why wouldn't we? So, oh, thank you for the popular vote. So fancy. I might have to have a long dissection with my cancer, so I might not be able to do it. So I love the memories too. Oh, thank you for sharing that. That's very personal, and I appreciate you feeling comfortable and safe enough to share that with us. And I hope that that doesn't happen for you. I hope that you're able to get better and still sing. But regardless of what happens, I hope that you're really proud of yourself, because it's extremely beautiful that you are able to step into what you want to step into, understanding that there may be a limited window of time. And I think a lot of times too, when we demonstrate bravery and step into where we want to be and what we want to do, that, the energies that be, the powers that be, they see that and they hear it and it resonates back to you. And hopefully with, healing energies. So, okay. I'm recording me singing for my kids too. That's going to make me emotional. But I'm happy that you're doing it. Oh, that made me feel, that moved stuff deep in my viscera. That made me feel a lot. I think that's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. So I'm getting just about ready to wrap up today. So if anybody has any last minute questions or thoughts or ideas they'd like to share, feel free to do that in the comments. I have tears flowing too, sharing hugs to you. Hugs to you as well. Yeah. Big old energetic hug. Thank you for always being here, and thank you for showing up for yourself in that way. It's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. Being a human is hard. And I think it takes a lot of the hard edge off when we lean into each other and when we lean into community. And that's hard to do in a hyper individualistic capitalist society. So keep showing up, and I will too. And I will too. Okay. So my next free offering is Music Theory Monday. Right now it's scheduled for 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay. It is subject to change. So just if you pre-register on TikTok or click the notify me button on the YouTube scheduled stream, it will the platform will notify you if I change the time. Okay. This Monday's Music Theory Monday is we're going to work on accidentals. If you're not familiar with what an accidental is, it's a sharp or a flat. Okay, and that's also going to help us do learn key signatures 101. Okay, so this is more of a this is very music theory-y, right? A lot of times Music Theory Mondays are techniques to help us learn ear training, but this one is going to be a little more technical. So if you're curious about sharps or flats and how they work, or how key signatures work, this week's upcoming Music Theory Monday will be for you. And the rest of the offerings for the week, Ear Training Tuesday, Warm Up Wednesday, Free Voice Lesson Thursday, and Frequency Friday, I will schedule those over the weekend. So those will pop up soon if you want to pre-register for those as well. So all of these offerings are free, but if you enjoy them, there are many ways that you can support me. For free ways to support me are by liking, sharing, following, subscribing. I'm new on YouTube, so if you haven't subscribed to me on YouTube, please go to my YouTube and do so. You can find the link to my YouTube if you're not on YouTube right now in my link tree. Okay, it's also the same handle as my TikTok at Resident Harmony Nerd. You can sign up for my email list in my link tree and get a free PDF on the music theory and ear training basics for Vocal Harmony 101. Some paid ways to support me are sending me a tip. There's a tip button in my link tree. Any amount helps, even if it's just $1. Okay. And, I also do one-to-one singing lessons, music theory lessons, piano lessons online. Okay. There's more information about those on my website, and there's more information about vocal assessments in my link tree. Okay. And I have more offerings coming this spring and summer as I just moved, so I am settling back in slowly but surely. And after traveling for gigs and moving, I wanted to make sure that I got back on my schedule here with these free live offerings. So thank you so much for joining me, whether you're new to the community or whether you've been here for a minute. I love you. Thank you for supporting this work. Thank you for being here. And my name is Tara. Professional singer based in New York City, music educator, vocal teacher, content creator, and so many more hats that I have worn and will wear, I'm sure. And thank you. Thank you for being here. I will see you all on Monday. And I'm open to topics. So if there's like a music theory topic or an ear training topic that you would like to learn about or that you would like to see content around, let me know. Okay. Have a wonderful weekend as well. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you all Monday. Goodbye. Take care.